And people would say to me, when I was in the police, external people that I met, they would say, "You're very bright, Jackie, you're very bright." And I never felt bright. I didn't feel bright at all because I didn't pass that 11 plus.
That exam or whatever it was,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you shouldn't. I remember my headmaster, when he was 100, no, he was 99, and he read something about me in the newspaper. And he wrote me this wonderful letter. He found out where to get my address from, or he sent it to somewhere. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I got this letter from him. And I went up to see him. And I drove from where I live in Surrey up to Leicester. And he spoke about the 11 plus, and he was really anti the 11 plus. He said, "You cannot define a child at 11. Some people are what you call late developers." And so it was, he found that it was the wrong exam to test kids aged 11, which would create their path for them.
Depression and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and create their future for them in a way where you are 11 plus funny, because you went to a secondary modern school. And I remember they were lovely at that school. It was called Spencefield in Leicester. They were just fantastic. The teachers were lovely. But that we had this parenting class for girls, like teaching you how to bath a baby and look after a baby. And I was like 14, yeah, 14. I was furious.
Yeah.
Absolutely furious. Now, I know the intentions and everything were good, but it's further stereotyping you. I'm not knocking parenthood, by the way, but what I'm saying
At
is
that, yeah.
at that age, that the likelihood was that I'd meet somebody, get married, have a child, and not have a job. And I was furious, and I just thought, who do they think? I am not that person. I am not that person.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
So it's a bit of a what's the name on that, isn't it? You know what I mean? So sort of like at the age of 14, you're doing that type of stuff, and it's as if that's your path to go. And don't get me wrong, in later life that will come, but not at 14. You're learning that. You know what I mean? I think it's a bit outrageous. You know what I mean? But from there, did you go to what was your
Oh,
path?
so what happened then? My dad was in South Wales, so I then. The other thing I have to tell you about is that so when I was in a teenager, and I'd kind of discovered my sexuality was different. Now that's another dollop of shame, because you've got to remember, Tony, and to your audience
Yeah,
that
yeah,
listens, that life for women so by then we're talking about the middle 60s, okay, on a number of things. Women didn't go to work. Lots of women did not have a
yeah.
career, so that was the one issue. My mum stayed at home. It was the usual 2.2 children. Mum and dad's mum stayed at home. So there was that. And then discovering my sexuality, knowing that there would not be a man
A
for
man,
me
yeah,
in
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah.
in the
Was
way
that
that
early on, Jackie, that you found sexuality?
well, I played with boys, I don't know really, but maybe about 14 or 15, I just felt different. I just felt different.
You wasn't attracted to boys and cause,
No, but they were my
yeah,
mates.
yeah,
They were
right.
my mates, and and my first crush was Dusty Springfield, you see. And I had Dusty Springfield posters all over my bedroom and stuff. Now, the guy that I grew up with, Gareth, so when he was 19, he went, or 18, he went to university because he did pass the 11 plus. And he wrote to me and he told me that he was gay.
Right.
And so I wrote back and I said, "Oh, don't worry, Gareth, I'm the same." And he's still with the partner. He's still with the partner that he met at 18.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's
I know,
good.
it's absolutely fantastic. So there's a kind of a massive kind of dollop of shame. So when I'm in my teenage years, I don't know any other gay people because Gareth hadn't told me. And the thing is, what am I going to do for a living? Now, I have to tell you that some things that I was really good at in school: English literature, English language, and history. Okay. Now, on the history thing, I loved about the Industrial Revolution, and I was very interested, and I do not know why, to this day, interested in prison reform. Elizabeth Fry, John Howard Penal reform, and all of that. But I did not want to be a prison officer. I knew that, because I just thought I don't want to kind of locking people up. And
You wanted more than
I
that.
wanted more than that. So that's when I joined the police.
Yeah.
So I joined as a police cadet. We were living in South Wales. If I joined South Wales Police, I could have gone anywhere up the valleys somewhere. And I didn't want that. So I then went back to Leicester. Joined Leicester at 18 as a police cadet.
Yeah. So from the police cadets, you know, was it long before you became, you know, to a police officer, or?
No, you're in the, when you're 19, so on my 19th birthday, I was sworn in as a police officer, yeah.
What was that feeling like? Was you proud? And
Yeah, no, you're only a kid, aren't you, really? And probably naive. But you also have to remember again that Sexual Discrimination Act did not come out till 1975. So you're now talking about 1970. So the women were not integrated, and they were in another building behind.
was it not mixed at all? Was
No,
it?
not at all.
Because I'm going to talk about a little bit about that a little bit later on, when you progress and stuff like that. But from an early stage, was that straight from the off? It was like that.
Yeah, straight from the off, yeah. Straight from the off. And you had your own, they had their own hierarchy. I mean, you worked with the men when the men wanted you to help them with like female prisoners, or going on a raid, or sitting in on an interview with a female and all of that kind of stuff. But you were kind of not fully integrated.
As and when, was it?
Yeah, as and when. But what we did, we dealt with a lot of the women's issues ourselves. So there was obviously dealt with sexual offences. We dealt with, we worked with the Vice Squad on what was known then as prostitution,
Yeah.
now known as sex workers. And there were odd times that you would go out on the beat on your own, and those were the times I absolutely loved it. So I policed on my own on the occasions when I could, an area called Highfields in Leicester, which is just from West End. I was at Charles Street Police Station, over the bridge to Swain Street, and then there was an area of Leicester called Highfields. At that point, that's where the street workers were. It was quite diverse, West Indian population,
Mixed race and all that, was it?
mixed race, and Victorian houses, flats, etc. So what happened was, I used to talk to the sex workers, and they'd say, "Oh, well, Jackie, it's like my Johnny's birthday next week or something. So he's 2 or he's 3. So I'd go and get little Johnny a present."
You would?
Yeah, I'd go and get him a present. So, because they'd invite me in for tea. So what they would do, lots of them, was give me information inadvertently. They didn't mean to, but there was
Just you were just talking with the flow.
chat. And then I used to stop cars in the Highfields area, ones that looked a bit dodgy, and I had loads of drugs arrests. So within 9 months of joining the police, they put me on the drug squad. And drug squad then was drugs and vice. So that's unheard of, because I'm still in my probation.
And you're a female as well.
Female, and they had like the one woman on it. So we used to go on all these drug raids, used to get information, and that was really, really good. And then when I was about 2 years service, I thought, well, because what happens is you're on probation for 2 years. And I know that they thought I was a nightmare. They did. So we had our own hierarchy. We had this woman superintendent called Hilda Parkin, and she was so frightening, I can't tell you. She was from Halifax in West Yorkshire, and she was so...
Yorkshire lass.
Yes, she was about 6 foot tall. She had what they call a DA, so her hair was put up in the back in this, we call it DA duck's arse type of thing. It was called DA, and she was really, really scary. So I know that she thought I was some little cocky little policewoman, and that they used to say you'll either get sacked within the first 2 years, or you'll
Or you'll
or you'll
resign.
make it. No, or you'll make it. So one day I was coming over the bridge, and I had it was so hot, Tony. It was so hot. I bought myself a 99 ice cream. So was in full uniform, and she caught me.
Because
She,
you having ice cream?
yeah, she went ballistic. Absolutely, well, it was a silly thing to do, but I was so hot. I thought I'd have to have an ice cream, and she caught me licking this 99 and everything. Wow,
Did she go off it?
she went off on me. She was always.
Looking for something to have a pop at you, or
Well, she found plenty, I can tell you. She found plenty with me to find, because I don't know whether, I just, I've been on one of these people that's slightly on the edge looking in. And I don't know, I was kind of not right in the middle of the bed, so to speak. And that's been part of my kind of story, always slightly on the outside looking in. And in an ham-fisted way as well about being a copper. And I remember being on this public order march in Leicester. I can't remember what they were marching about. But the police, each side of them. And I remember talking to this person, what are you marching about? What's it all about? Da-di-da-di-da, where we go. And this voice boomed at me from the superintendent. He said, "We're policing them, miss, not joining them." And it was like, oh, okay. And I kind of think, my life has been about chatting to people from every background to try and understand, to communicate, to reach out to people. And for me, I've got to tell you, Tony, that's worked in my favour.
But I think, Jackie, your approach there, the police have a hard job to do. We all know that.
Much harder now.
Yeah, I mean...
Much harder.
And I just think your approach there, where you're talking and you're trying to, where you see things, on the news, or you see things on social media now because there's phones and stuff like that, where you see police officers, they've got this little... Don't get me wrong, you've got to abide by the law. You're not like taking liberties and taking stuff into your own hands. But your approach there, and then you've got your superintendent going, well, you know what I mean? If you're getting an understanding with the public will show, it's that saying when you speak to me in the right way and I'll speak to you in the right way. You show me respect, I'll show you respect. And I think that's the right approach to have, especially, you're the public, your police officer and stuff like that. So was that hard for you to understand why your superintendent was like that, or?
I kind of...
Or did you just accept it?
I never changed.
Yeah.
I'd never changed my approach, Tony. So I always spoke to people, and more importantly, you listen to them. Because in everything that you do, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it's all in context. Now, the context may not change the event, but it gives you some feeling of understanding and putting it in context for other people, to understand. And that includes people that you interview and just tell me the story. So I give you a little example. It is a basic example, and I think I talk about it in the book, but there's a young girl, 15, throws a brick through her stepdad's window. And so you go, okay, criminal damage unit. Right, so you think, okay, she's 15, she's throwing a brick through a window. So you said, why did you do that? What was behind you throwing that brick through the window? And she reveals that she has been sexually abused by him. It's a different outlook. Do you see what I mean? It's a different context. And then this is a much deeper issue. So the brick through the window just disappears, and because it's not important. What's important is
there's a lot more to it.
Yeah, let's get hold of this kid. Now, that was always kind of, my approach, my approach and things. I mean, not that I do that. When I was on the flying squad, you wouldn't do that with an armed blagger. Let's be fair. But you would, the things of minutiae of everyday life, where people get nicked for stuff. It's always better to sit down and listen to their point of view. And my experiences, and I've been around the criminal justice years now, 50 plus years. There's a lot of people who have never had a voice, never been heard, never been listened to. And that's what I hope, that I have done. And when, I know you're going to talk about the book later, but when I did write that book, I got loads of
people reaching out.
Yeah, people who said, you won't remember me, but I remember you because of this. And some of them were victims, some of them were police officers that I'd kind of stuck up for, because I won't have injustice and I won't have unfairness. And so I'll always fight for the right thing and fight for my troops if I felt that they had been unduly, had over that kind
But
of
that's
thing.
the right way, though, Jackie. I think
Well, I think it's the right
it's
way.
the right way. Let's be honest. In any walk of life, in business or in that profession, you're gonna back, and do it the right way. And you sit and you listen, and then you assess the situation. Like you said, that young girl. I'm not saying it would happen now. She's thrown a brick through the window. She's nicked. Whatever. Station. Put it in the cell. Not listened to. Silenced. But like you said, why have you actually done that? Then they find the courage to speak out and tell you why they've actually done that. And then, yeah, okay, we need to go and investigate this. We need to get to the bottom of this. Thanks for watching this clip. If you like what you see, click the link to watch the full episode. And don't forget to subscribe.